Hey coin fans! Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm talking about one of the most discussed modern US coins, the 1972 D Kennedy half dollar. Some of them go for just a few dollars, but some rare era versions have sold for thousands. Stick around, because I'll show you which details to watch for, a bit of history, and why some of these coins are ultra-rare treasures. The 1972 D Kennedy half dollar is a coin that many people ignore because millions were made, but a small number of them can be worth real money, and this is why collectors still search for them today. Even though the normal 1972 D half dollar is common, certain rare mistakes and special versions can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, with one example selling for around $7,200. That's why this coin is fun to learn about. Your pocket change might hold something surprising. Most people don't know the story behind the Kennedy half dollar. It was created in 1964 after President John F. Kennedy was assassinated. The United States Mint quickly designed a new half dollar in his honor. The front of the coin shows Kennedy's face, and the back shows the presidential seal, with an eagle holding arrows and an olive branch. On the back are the small initials, FG, representing Frank Gasparo, the designer of the reverse. The coin was made of silver at first, but in 1971 the silver was removed, and the government switched to a copper-nickel-clad coin. That means the 1972 half dollar is not made of silver, and that is one reason why regular ones are not very valuable. The Denver Mint produced the 1972 D Kennedy half dollar, and it made an enormous amount of them, approximately 141 million coins. Because of this, most 1972 D half dollars you see today are only worth 50 cents to about $1 or $2 in normal condition. Even a regular uncirculated one might only be worth a few dollars. When a coin is produced in very high numbers, the only ones that gain special value are the coins with rare mistakes or coins kept in extremely high grade. This is where things get exciting. A few 1972 D Kennedy half dollars have errors that make them extremely collectible, and these can be worth significantly more than face value. One of the most important and valuable errors is called the no FG variety. On normal coins, you can see the tiny FG initials on the back. On this rare variety, the initials are completely missing. This happens because the mint polished the die too much, and the initials were accidentally removed. This created a small number of coins with no initials at all. These no FG coins are rare and can be worth much more than a regular 1972 D. Depending on the coin's condition, a no FG variety can easily be worth $50, $100, or even several $100s, especially in higher grades. Collectors always check this area first because it is one of the most valuable features on this coin. Another valuable type is the double die obverse, also known as a DDO. This error occurs when the die that strikes the coin has doubling on the letters or numbers. If you look closely and see that the words, "Liberty in God We Trust," or the date, 1972, seem to have a double image or a shadow-like effect, you might have a double die coin. These coins are quite rare. Depending on how strong the doubling is and how clean and sharp the coin looks, a double die 1972 D half dollar can be worth anywhere from $75 to more than $1,000, and sometimes even higher if the coin is in near perfect grade. That's a huge jump from a normal 50-cent piece. There are also more dramatic mint errors that can bring strong prices. Off-center strikes are errors where the design is not lined up correctly, causing the image to be shifted to one side. The more off-center the coin, the more valuable it becomes. A small off-center error might only add a few dollars, but a large, bold off-center strike can be worth $50, $100, or more, depending on how unusual it looks. Collectors love mistakes that are easy to see without magnification. Another interesting error is the clipped planchet. This happens when the metal sheet used to cut the coin blanks is misaligned, causing the coin to have a curved or straight chunk missing from the edge. A real clipped planchet error is always worth more than face value. Depending on how large the clip is and how cleanly it appears, these coins can sell for $20, $40, or higher. Some 1972 D halves also show broad strikes, meaning the coin was struck without the proper retaining ring. This creates a coin with a wider, flatter appearance and no regular rim. Broad strike errors can bring $25 to $100 depending on how dramatic they look. There are also coins with die cracks, die clashes, and weak strikes. These errors usually do not reach thousands of dollars, but they can add $10 to $50 of value depending on the severity. The most exciting part is that certain high-grade 1972 D Kennedy half dollars, especially the rare varieties, have sold for very high prices. When a coin grader examines a coin and gives it a near-perfect grade such as MS65, MS66, or MS67, the value can shoot up. One example of a 1972 D half dollar sold for around $7,200 because it was an extremely high grade and very hard to find in such perfect condition. That is an amazing amount for a modern half dollar that originally cost only 50 cents. When looking at your own 1972 D half dollar, the first thing you should do is check the condition. A coin that looks shiny and clean, with sharp details and no scratches, will always be worth more than a worn coin. Next, check the back for the missing FG initials, because that is one of the highest value varieties. After that, carefully inspect the lettering on the front to see if any doubling appears. Finally, look at the edge and shape of the coin to see if it is off-center, clipped, or unusually wide. Any of these features can add value. If you think your coin has a rare error or is in nearly perfect condition, you might want to have it graded. A professionally graded coin usually sells for more because buyers trust the grade. Grading is especially helpful for varieties like the no FG and the double die, since confirmation greatly increases collector confidence and can raise the selling price. Collectors enjoy the 1972 D Kennedy half dollar not because the regular version is valuable, but because the rare versions can be worth real money. This coin is part of the early clad era, after the mint removed silver from U.S. coins, and it represents a time of change in American coinage. It is also a coin that almost everyone has seen or handled, so the idea that one could be worth hundreds or thousands makes it exciting. People who search through coins often hope to find one of these rare types. Even though the odds are low, the idea of discovering a $500 coin, a $1,000 coin, or even a $7,200 coin in old change makes the hunt worth it. And even if the coin you have is not the rare kind, learning how to check for these errors helps you understand more about the minting process and why collectors pay so much for unusual mistakes. The 1972 D Kennedy half dollar teaches a simple lesson: a coin that appears ordinary can sometimes be extraordinary. Some are only worth 50 cents, but others are worth hundreds or thousands. It all depends on the condition, the error, and the rarity. So if you have a 1972 D half dollar, take a close look. You never know, you might hold a little treasure right in your hand.